The Sustainable Farming Academy is very, very important to our customers and to our consumers, because we're living in a time when sustainability now is part of our lives. But we're actually at the beginning of an evolution here, and one of the key elements of an evolution is education. So we're taking this opportunity to highlight the advantage of education and to select leaders for the future.
I think the Sustainable Farming Academy is a great initiative because it's going to help farmers and family farms like myself and family farms to use the most up-to-date science and technology to make improvements on our farm going forward and to embrace climate change and all that goes with that.
Well, sure, anything to make things better, to improve yourself. Will definitely help. The Sustainable Farming Academy will help me and other farmers to develop our knowledge and skill set in the areas of sustainability, climate change and the environment.
At Bailey's, we believe we should treat the planet properly. Since the very first bottle of Bailey's was made in 1974, we've been working with some of the same family farms to make sure that we're doing the best possible farming. More sustainable practices are needed, and this Farming Academy is going to help farmers reach those more sustainable practices.
I think UCC is a good partner because UCC is a highly committed green campus. It's the first green campus in Europe, but we also have a very, very long tradition of engaging with the farming community. The challenges we're all facing are a common set of challenges, and we want to go on that journey with the farmers. I think it's important for us that farmers lead the way, and I think through this programme we can contribute in a small way to giving farmers the ability to take greater control over that project for themselves.
From the perspective of our Living Proof strategy, the Sustainable Farming Academy will be one of the elements that will sustain in the future. So we want to build the leaders of the future and empower the leaders of the future so that others can learn from them and that they are part of this evolution that's commencing now.
Okay, so good morning everyone, and thank you for taking the time to join us on this webinar this morning. As you've heard there on that short video clip, here in Glanbia, Ireland, we're collaborating with one of our key dairy ingredients customers, Bailey's, to support you, our farm family members, on your sustainability journey to continue to take positive environmental actions with the launch of our Sustainable Farming Academy. As part of this Sustainable Farming Academy, there's 20 fully funded part-time diploma places available and this sustainability diploma is in the area of environment, sustainability and climate. It's mostly an online course and it's being delivered by our colleagues in University College Cork. Suppliers' prior learnings and experience are taken into account in the development of this diploma, with a number of modules that require completion being reduced in recognition of your prior learning and your prior experience, whether that's the requirements under your nitrates requirements or general cross compliance. However, look, an important deadline is approaching. All suppliers interested in taking part in the diploma are required to have their diploma expressions of interest completed by the end of the month, by the 31st of May, and returned to UCC. To discuss this diploma in greater detail, we're joined by Belinda Gascoigne, and Belinda is the course director from UCC, and she's going to talk us through the details of the diploma, what to expect when it's starting. As always, your questions are welcome. So as you listen to Belinda's presentation, will you please send in your questions to us? You can email them into hello@glanbiaconnect.com, or you can text them into 086 180 3947. So Belinda, thank you for taking the time to join this webinar, and you're very welcome. And we now look forward to your presentation. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you, Thomas. Delighted to be with you all this morning and to have an opportunity to connect with you and talk to you a little bit more about this diploma and what's involved. So for the next few minutes, I'm just going to give you an overview to give you a bit of insight into the programme ahead, what you'll be studying, what's involved, and the time it's going to take you, because that's a very important part of all of this. So I suppose just to first of all, and Thomas has alluded to some of this already, so I'll just quickly go through this with you. The diploma is a diploma in environment, sustainability and climate, and it comprises of 60 credits. And that would be in the normal sense. It's a level 7 programme under the Irish National Framework of Qualifications. And as Thomas also spoke about just previously, we undertook a process where we look at the recognition of prior learning and prior experience. And we did that last year on this programme, looking at what you do as farmers in Glanbia, in your practice every day, in the knowledge that you already have, and in all the other training and workshops and all of that you would have attended over the last number of years, and bringing that all together in one piece as a part of recognition. And really what that resulted in for you is that you are now have an opportunity to be part of a diploma that normally students would have to undertake 60 credits to complete. You will actually only have to do 30, because all of that knowledge and experience has accounted for 50% of the whole programme. So you will only have to complete those 30 credits. And I'm now going to go on to tell you what those 30 credits are in the next slide. So those 30 credits are broken down into what we call modules, and there's 3 modules that you will be completing. And I'm just going to give you a little bit of a background on each of the modules that are to be completed. So the first one here is what we call an introduction to earth sciences. So looking at earth sciences, looking at geology, hydrogeology, geohazards. And some of this you already have some knowledge of, because I know that you do some soil sampling, but we go into it, I suppose, in more depth for you, so that we can enhance that knowledge for you going forward as you adapt and change, you know, how you work with the challenges ahead. The teaching you'll see here is all linked to the SDGs, and some of you may or may not have heard of those. They're the Sustainable Development Goals. So you'll see that coming up, and you'll see that much more as well out in the public arena as over the next few years, as they're key parts of, I suppose, how the world is tackling climate change. The second module you'll complete is Perspectives on Climate Change and Sustainable Development. Here again, we look at the natural and anthropogenic or human-caused climate change. We look at strategies for mitigation and adaptation, and the challenges and the issues around sustainable development, and also the related socio-economic policies, I suppose, and approaches. And you're all very familiar at the moment with the fact that we have a new climate bill, that there's lots of targets being put out there, and lots of challenges. So again, here in this module, very much, you know, in line with what you guys are going to be trying to do out in your farms, in the agricultural sector. Again, you'll see it's linked there to the SDGs, but we will be very much looking at it from your sector. But also in the broader sense, because obviously climate affects you not just in your farming sense, but broader in a broader sense on your families, you know, as well, and your communities. So we look at all of that in that particular module. And then the final module you'll complete is one in practical environmental management. Now this one brings in a lot of different little bits and pieces. So we look at things like energy, we also look at conservation, we look at flood risk management, we look at sustainable food production practices and the exploitation, shall I say, of natural resources. So again, linked to the SDGs, but again, we'll be very much looking at your practice, and I suppose from conservation and that, you know, habitats and biodiversity are really, really key parts of what you do every day, and so we'll be tying all of that in that particular module. So that's just a brief overview of them. I suppose now what you were saying is, right, well, that's what we're going to be learning, now how you're going to assess it. So I might just go on to the next slide there, and we're going to look at what's involved. So I suppose from the very first point I want to make is that there are no exams. So please don't worry about having to sit down and study and that you're going to have to sit down then for an hour and a half or something for an exam. There are no exams. Everything is continuous assessment, and we do it bit by bit. And please also don't be overwhelmed by what's on the screen in front of you right now in the numbers of them and what they are, because we guide you to every single one of them. Okay, so things like they're in the first module, like, so you're going to be doing an essay. That's actually going to be very much an essay based around the agricultural practices, soils and geology. Okay, so again, all of what you're learning through those assignments is going to be enhancing your own knowledge and practice. And then the rest of it is very practical. The practical side is actually looking at rocks and minerals, and there'll also be a field trip out onto one of the farms. So those assignments you actually almost do as you go at the time that they happen. And those little short online activities are only little, very small, short things that will take you probably no more than half an hour to complete. And again, we'll tie them into your practice. So there could be something like just going out and taking a picture on your farm of something that captures, we'll say, sustainability in some way or whatever. They're all related into your practice, those little online participation activities. In the second one there, we're looking at things like blogs. Again, don't be put off by the terminology. Blogs are really just short pieces of entry, and they're around module themes. So again, we'll be drawing out what you're doing in your practice and what knowledge you have and applying them around the learning you're getting. The presentation, again, we're at one today. We'll guide you through that. It's not. It's actually quite an exciting assignment, that one, is because you bring your own personality again into that. As well as your knowledge, and the case study, really great to dive into a case study and look at what's going on in some place and how you can relate to that and take learning away from it. Okay, and then the last one, the poster. Again, don't worry about how they're created, often by hand. Again, all will be in themes to do with what you do. Energy review literally takes you a week, where you will either decide to monitor your energy use in your house or actually out on the farm itself, and you capture all of that and you look at how you can improve it, or maybe things that you can highlight and things like that. Again, very practical. The report in this one is all around conservation, biodiversity, habitat, stuff like that. So again, very applicable to what you do every day, and again with the intention of enhancing and taking your learning and being able to use this. So the idea of all these assignments is that you take them, and everything that you do in them, they're going to they have a practical sense and knowledge application for you. So please don't be deterred by the fact that they're numerous. They're very much spread out. You do them one by one, and we guide you through every single one of them. Okay. And I suppose what I would like, a big point I suppose I'd like to really make here before I go on, is that this course was designed for people that work full time, that have family commitments, social commitments. So it's all doable, and I already work with another co-op who have had students come through this program. So while you're not the first, you certainly are. I can, I suppose say that, others have gone before you and have been able to complete this alongside their practice and their work on their farms. So don't please think that you can't do this, because you definitely can. And I have, several testaments to that to assure you. So maybe now we need to go on to the next slide and look at delivery. Like, how does this all happen then? So here we're saying we've got, this is the content, this is how it's going to be assessed. Well, how am I going to have that delivered to me? So the lectures will be predominantly online, and they're delivered on a part-time basis. Okay, so what you will have is on one evening in a week from 7 to 8 p.m. you will have a live class. Okay, so your lecturer will be live with you discussing all of the material of that week. In the lead up to that week, you will be given pre-class work, and it's released a week in advance. Okay, so you have the whole week leading up to that live class in that evening to look at all that material, and it's broken down into segments for you. So you'll get pre-recorded lectures, which are generally 3 pieces of about 20 to 30 minutes max. So you can watch those individually. You can watch them for 10 minutes. You can come and go to them. All this material is open to you for the whole week. There may be short videos or a short reading, often things that are topical at the time to do with your sector, maybe even from newspapers or journals and different things like that. And this will generally take you about 3 hours over the week to complete, but it's totally flexible around your time and when suits you. Okay, so your overall weekly commitment will be somewhere between kind of 3 to 5 hours. That's including the weekly class and getting some assignment work done bit by bit every week as well as you get them. Okay, so really, as I said just previously, very doable, and very flexibly delivered to you so that it works with you and your commitments. Okay, the course will also include some face-to-face. So we plan to have 2 visits to the UCC campus and at least 1, if not 2, farm visits. I suppose a really important aspect of this is that You'll get on with your everyday life. You'll come to your classes, but you are university students. You will be students of University College Cork, and it's really important to us, and it should be important to you, that you come and you're part of our campus. So we will bring you on the campus, as you heard in the video at the very start. We are, UCC is actually at the fore of sustainability and climate action. We are the first university in the world to get the green flag, and you might know that if you've got kids in schools where they have talked about their green flags. We were actually the very first university in the world to achieve a green flag, and we have retained that green flag. But we have incredible initiatives on the campus, all around, everything from an arboretum to actually just yesterday launched our urban garden. So it's a vertical gardening. So we want to be able to bring you on campus and visit all of what goes on in our campus, but also have a class on campus. You are going to be university students, and that's really important. And then we'll be, as I said, out on the farms as well. So we will be picking a couple of farms during the year, and we'll all meet up there for a visit and have a walk around farms. The course itself will run from early September to May, but there will be no classes during February and March, as we're really appreciative of the fact that this is a really busy and intense time for you, and we take that into consideration. And so we make up the time through those campus visits where you have like a full day with us, or on the farm visits. So we don't, it's not that you'll do less material, you'll cover the same as any other student would be on those modules, but we'll just do it in a more flexible way with you around your pressure points in the farming year. Okay, so I'll just go on to the next slide, please, and we will look at what are the other supports we give you. I myself, when I changed career just over 11 years ago now, actually started with this diploma. So I actually have been a student of this programme, even though it's changed a little bit over the last couple of years because we needed to bring in more climate and sustainability into it. So I was a student of this, and so I know exactly what it's like to have to undergo this programme myself. But I and the team that lecture on it, I'm also one of the lecturers, are really experienced. We are very experienced in the online learning environment, but we're also very experienced in working with your sector and with adult learners. And we also give you very much a dedicated support and training programme that introduces you to the things you will need. And we're on Teams today, so you're already familiar with that. Canvas is just a learning platform where you just log in, and that's where you find all your materials. Really, really easy to use. But just to reassure you, we guide you through all of that. We also give you other supports such as library access, a student card, and a skills centre that provides you with all sorts of training at different times, specifically for our students. And we encourage our students to engage with those. They're usually half hour to an hour, and a lot of them are even recorded if you can't attend them live. And they are offered online as well as on campus. And as I said, the lecturing team itself, we also will have guest speakers that will be very applicable to your sector when we're speaking about different subject areas. So the next slide, I suppose, just brings us to other useful information. Again, Thomas will have alluded to most of this already, so I'm not going to go through it in detail. It's absolutely incredible, and we're so delighted that Glanbia and Bailey's have come together to fully fund this diploma and make this available to you. It's such an indictment, I suppose, of their investment in you, and I think that's to be highly commended. There are a few certain things that we need to abide by. One is that you do need to be of 21 years of age, but there is no upper limit. So please don't think you're too old, but as long as you're over 21, that's all that matters to us, because we are an adult education department. Applications, we do have a deadline looming, the 31st of May. So please, if you are interested, to get your expression of interest in. We are having a maximum intake of 20 students, so if we are oversubscribed, and there are just a few places left, so please, if you are interested, do get them in. But where we are oversubscribed, we will be using your personal statements, so they are an important part of the application to decide who will get the places. And then we will be notifying you in sometime early August, where you would then just transfer you into the UCC application system. These are just my details for your information if you needed to contact me. And then I'll just go on to the last pieces, I suppose, which is the expression of interest form that I just spoke of there, and also a link to the webpage. And I think perhaps we might be able to open the expression of interest form just so you can see what's involved. It's a very simple form. It's your name, some personal details like date of birth, because we just need to confirm your age. You will need to put your supplier number in there because that's an important piece for checking that, because it is fully funded. And then the personal statement. And also in the personal statement, we have given you guiding questions. So if you answer those kind of questions, then that will give us a really great sense of, your interest in the programme, your background, and, in terms of why you'd like to do this. And then, you just press that button at the bottom, it submits and it comes directly to me. Okay, and then I'll be using that. We also have a link as well to the website that also gives you more information, much of which I've spoken about already, but again, for you to see and have a read through if you'd like any further information as well there. Okay, and that's where you find the expression of interest form itself at the bottom of that page. Okay, so I suppose just to finish on the last slides, that personal statement, as I said, it's about 500 words, 800 words thereabouts. I'm not going to count them personally, but that's what we kind of envisage it will be based on those questions that have guiding questions below. And, they're there to kind of give you, but please feel free to give other information as well. These were our guiding questions for you. And we can move to the next slide to finish off with opening the floor to you now. And I welcome your questions, and thank you again for your time.
Belinda,
Yes.
so Belinda, thank you very much for taking part and for presenting out the detail around the diploma when it's starting, the application process, because I think it's speaking to and it's addressing a number of the questions that have come in. So just a reminder, as you see it there, for anyone who has questions, will you please email them in there to hello@glanbiaconnect.com, or will you text them into 086 180 3947. A really important question that was asked was, how are the 20 farmers selected? And I think maybe you might have covered it towards the end, but will you just go back over and address the importance of that personal statement and the detail around it in terms of the selection criteria? Thanks, Belinda.
Absolutely, yes. I mean, if we are oversubscribed, then the way we will be able to, weed it down, I suppose, is by that personal statement. So those guiding questions, please ensure, I suppose, in your statement that you're addressing those, like, why do you want to take part in the diploma? Giving examples of things that you already do, so that we can see that I can see when I'm looking at those personal statements that you're already engaging. And I know you are, but I suppose it's just calling it out, and in what way. And there'll be certain things on your farms that, because of maybe the setting of it, it may or not have a river, it may, different things. So it's kind of calling that out. How will participating in it benefit you and your family farm? That's really important, that you see that there's an outcome for you by completing the programme. And things that you've achieved already that you're proud of, so whatever they might be, and again, that's a personal thing to you, so we're getting a sense of who you are and what's important to you through that question. If there's anything that concerns you about undertaking the programme, and please don't see that as a negative, because they're the kind of things that are important as well, that you've thought about them and that you think, what challenges they may be or things that you feel. So that's very much a positive question, because for us, and when I'm looking at that, it tells me that you've thought about what's involved, and that you're not just, simply filling in a form. You're actually kind of taking time to consider all of it, and then outlining the level of commitment you can physically dedicate. That I suppose it's important that we, that when you decide that if you're going to apply for it, and that if you're a successful applicant, that you will be able to give that 5 hours a week when it's needed. But don't forget that it is very much broken down and very flexible outside of the one dedicated live class that you do for that hour every week. So I hope that gives you a better sense of how you might go to approach that personal statement and what we're really looking for and the reasoning behind some of those guiding questions. But as I said, you can add to that. They're just to help you. Okay.
I think that's a really interesting response, Belinda. What you've basically said to us here on the call is, when you're submitting your expression of interest, put as much detail and effort as you can into your personal statement.
Absolutely. Because
that's really important for you when you're selecting the 20. Okay. The next question, I think. Great. The next question, I think, Belinda, is for me, so maybe I'll take it. The question is, can family members apply for the diploma? So look, the answer to that is yes, family members can apply. However, first preference will be given to suppliers themselves. So look, we have 20 places available. If for some reason that insufficient numbers, that there aren't 20 applications directly from suppliers, well then family members will come into play. I think the other important point that you probably make me, Belinda, is there is a requirement that you're at least 21 years of age in terms of completing the diploma, because this is part of the adult continuous education programme with UCC as part of the Sustainable Farming Academy. A nice question is asked maybe from someone maybe concerned that they mightn't, be successful this time around, is they're asking, look, will feedback be provided if they're unsuccessful? Now, Belinda, I'll give you my perspective and maybe you can add to it. I think it would be reasonable, that maybe we would prepare a summary note maybe afterwards of pointers, maybe around, areas that could be improved generally within, for anyone that might think of applying again, because we are committed ourselves in Glanbia Ireland, and Bailey's are committed as part of a 3-year programme. So we're going to have 20 places available for the next 3 years. So if you're not successful this year in the application, it's really important you have a look at that feedback that comes back, and hopefully it'll help you next year with the application. I don't know, Belinda, do you want to add anything to that?
No, absolutely. We would certainly, yes, because well, I mean, if you're not successful, it is nice to know why not. And so absolutely, I'm very much in line with that, Thomas, that we would give a summary feedback to you on why and how you can improve it for next time if you're interested. Absolutely.
Okay. A question just in, Belinda, and they're coming in, a lot more coming in by text to 086 180 3947 than email, so okay. Keep them coming. Is this a 1-year programme, Belinda?
Yes, it is. It's 1 year. You'll start early September and finish towards the end of May. So yes, it's 1-year programme. So that's your commitment. Now, there is instances where, if for any reason that, you're unsuccessful in any of your assignments, then you would go, it would move into the summer and you do it over the summer into August. But, as an actual delivery and in terms of class time and all that, it's delivered from September to May. So the only deviance would be for assignment work to a longer period. But okay. Otherwise, the delivery is 12 months, as September to May.
Okay, and maybe to give you a sense of the level of thinking and engagement from those that are joined us on the webinar, we have a question here. What opportunities are there to progress upon graduation? So if I graduate with my level 7 diploma in environment, sustainability and climate as part of this Sustainable Farming Academy, are there other educational opportunities with yourselves in UCC?
Absolutely, and I suppose there is more and more coming on stream as we speak. Directly, I suppose the subject is broad and in the environment. So some people that go on to do further studies kind of go into more niche areas and want to specialise in certain things. But also there's opportunities then for shorter, maybe add-on programs like micro-credentials, which are shorter, more bespoke pieces in specific things. So I'm already working as we speak actually on things relating to climate and sustainability more generally, but will be totally applicable to the sector because as we get more and more to that climate bill. So absolutely. So there's lots of different avenues. And actually at the end of the course, and I actually only just did this with my second years from the diploma last night, that are current students, to say what's next for you. So we will do that at the very end of the year, of what's next class, kind of opportunities, different things that are out there that you might like to do. So we'll be doing that at the back at the end of the year.
So this is a level 7 diploma. So someone having completed that might think about doing maybe, I don't know, a degree, maybe a level 8 degree or something like that. Maybe after that. Okay, good. Yep. So maybe just 2 questions that have come in. Maybe one is directly to me. Maybe around suppliers being eligible. That's for co-op members. Once you're a co-op member, you're eligible to put in an application. And then the second one is, we've been asked, is it possible to put up on the chat function the link to that expression of interest? So maybe I've colleagues here in the background. James Brennan is giving me a handout here. So maybe if James was able to put up on the chat function, maybe that link to the UCC link to fill in the expression of interest, the application form. Belinda, I'm very conscious of time. We said this was a half an hour. What's your finish, if you like, your finish off message to us around maybe some key takeaways regarding this diploma?
I suppose the key takeaways are that, go and have a look at it. Go and have a look at that website and that link to the page that James is going to put up with you now, up for you in the chat, hopefully. That also has the expression of interest link at the bottom of it. Have a look at it. If you have any questions, my contact details are on there. Please feel free. No question is a silly question. If you have any concerns, anything like that, please just touch base with me. But have a good read through it. Think seriously about the opportunity that's been given to you. I think it's an incredible opportunity. And the fact that you've had so much of your work and practice acknowledged already by having 30 credits of this program exempted from you, and that you get the opportunity to have a diploma, which normally people take 2 years to complete, is an incredible opportunity. And the amount of learning, I suppose, and takeaway that you will get that will enhance your practice and your knowledge will, to continue to do what you do on your farms and, in a sustainable way. I suppose it's the takeaway here is, don't leave this opportunity pass you by, and go and have a read. Come to me if you have any questions, and I can't wait to see all of your applications coming in and reading those statements, and then meeting you all in September. So, I suppose it's just a fantastic opportunity, and to go with that, and complete that form.
Great. So look, Belinda, thank you very much for your time. I think importantly, for anyone who wishes to contact you directly, your contact details are up on that UCC link. So for anyone who just wants to type in Sustainable Farming Academy in your search, that'll bring you directly to the UCC website also. I think, in summary, when I see what our CEO Jim Bergen said in that video clip at the very start, is the importance of education in building our knowledge and capacity around sustainability. We know change is happening in this space, but to have the knowledge and capabilities to be able to respond to it. And within Glanbia Ireland, in our partnership with Bailey's, we're really delighted to come forward with this diploma as part of our Sustainable Farming Academy. So look, we hope you'll take the sustainability challenge, and we look forward to meeting some of you, hopefully many of you on this call in September as part of this diploma. So to everyone, I want to thank you for taking the time to join us on the webinar, and particularly Belinda, for your presentation and for taking and fielding the questions. Will you stay tuned to Glanbia Connect and our Twitter account at Glanbia Connect for more details, and indeed we will probably even do a follow-up seminar, I think, webinar, because such was the level of detail and the questions today. I think, look, I thank you for watching, and our supporting colleagues James Brennan and Anton for helping us here, and to say thank you and safe farming.